Empire State Development, what do we do? Empire State Development, ESD, as we call it, works to attract new businesses to the state and to support growth. And we do this in I would say four primary ways. We do it with using economic and financial incentives. We do it with real estate assistance and development, helping invest in capital improvement projects, and also with marketing assistance. We also work with you all in small business services. I'll go over the first point, which is the incentives overview. This is where I focus mainly. It really is working with companies to determine where we could be of assistance in terms of where there's a lacking in terms of finance for a company that's looking to come to New York State. This primarily takes the form of tax credits. So you might not get money up front, but these credits usually come after you've made the expenses and invest in the state. Then when you go ahead and file for your taxes, you get the money back in the form of a refund. We have a variety of different tax credits. The one that I work mainly on is called the Excelsior Jobs Tax Credits. This is a tax credit that is comes about when you commit to creating a certain amount of jobs, and once that commitment is met, then you receive the tax credits. They are discretionary, which means that you apply for the tax credit, and then it's based on your certain circumstances, the amount of the tax credit will be. So it's not going to be the same for everyone. Each project is unique. We also have similar frame tax credits in investment. So if your threshold is not jobs, but rather a sort of investment that you're making, there's also a threshold of a research and development. So if you're doing a significant amount of research and development in New York State, you could apply with that. We also have a real estate property tax based on certain locations throughout the states that is considered distressed. You would get an incentive if you were to redevelop and invest in that area. We also have some operational support. It usually is going through the small business services. Um, the programs include our business mentor programs, where we match you with established New York State investors or business owners, and they give you one-on-one advice on doing business in New York State. We also have entrepreneurial assistance centers, which will help aspiring entrepreneurs throughout the state. Maybe not be applicable to the people on the webinar, as you all probably all are very established business people, but there is assistance for people who are a bit more on the early side of starting their businesses. We also assist with procurement. If you are planning on doing business with New York State, it is a process. You would have to go through a lot of applications and reviews. So there is assistance for that in terms of learning how to identify opportunities within state government agencies and how to bid for those projects. We also have what's great about New York State is or ESD of how we're set up is that we are divided into different groups. We have the region specific offices. So it's divided into 10 different groups. So if you're looking to maybe invest in Western New York, you would have that regional office that you can work with. But if you are an aerospace company, you also have members on my team who are specific to that industry and not just the region. So you have kind of a team of people who will not only look at what you're working in with your industry, but also the region you're focused on. So you can kind of think of it as a 2-to-1 match in terms of assistance within New York State. We also have something that we call the Centers of Excellence, which are universities that receive extra funding from the state for helping do commercialization of their research and work. Private companies can also partner with that. If you are interested in learning more about that, that's also on our website. There's a list of the Centers of Excellence with their specific industries that you can also find out more where these Centers of Excellence are. And as I'm using the aerospace, for example, it might be Central New York, where there's a Center of Excellence in aerospace design. You're able to work more with those universities and maybe the research that they're doing, and then how that can work with the commercialization of your product. We also do have some venture capital investment funds. These usually are, they're not going to be lead investors, but they will usually be investments, follow-up investments to help meet the gap that maybe an early stage company can't quite meet, but they do have some lead investors. It's a very narrow sort of requirement in terms of how those funds are used and selected. But if you think you're applicable, if you're doing some sort of an innovative um, um, product or development that you think the state would be very interested to learn more about, it's also something that we can help link to. So let's see here. I mentioned the regions. I wish I had this as a visual so you could see the map. The state is quite large, as I said before. While New York City is kind of at the bottom right um, on uh, on um, the Long Island and Manhattan Island, we have a huge uh, state, you know, to also consider if your investment. So if you are considering New York City but find it to be a bit too expensive, there's regions like on Long Island or even the Hudson County, which is not too far with transportation, but you are able to probably get more value for your dollar if you're thinking of leasing costs are a concern. Our industries, again, we run the gamut. We have agricultural, business, life science, bio, um, film and television, tech and electronics, craft beverages, software and digital media. Really, as you all are probably aware, New York City has a bit of everything. So it's a great place to expand your business, especially if you're looking for an international edge. We are just quick flights away from Europe and also Western United States. We really have access, and we are a hub for so much in terms of expanding your business. So, as I said again, Empire State Development, we are the economic development driver for the state of New York. You can find more about these programs that I briefly mentioned. Hopefully, you'll find a bit more visual assistance in what everything looks like